Tonight, from the Shrine Exposition Hall in Los Angeles, it's the 4th Annual American Comedy Awards.
Wait till they get a load of me.
Bacon is loaded with sodium, nitrites, grease, and animal fat.
Breakfast!
I met a man from Chernobyl, a technician. I asked him, was the problem that severe? And he said to me,
That.
But enough about me, let's talk about you. What do you think of me?
Excuse me? Is this like a sex thing?
Frankly, I'm hot to trot.
What is this?
I'll have what she's having.
Boy, this is a big night for me.
This is show business.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Carl Reiner.
Ha ha ha! What a night! What a night! What a year! First, the Berlin Wall comes down, Noriega is sent up, and Daniel Ortega is thrown over. Peace and democracy are breaking out all over the world, and now this. What else can I say? Here we are with the award show that asks the burning question, why? Anyway, I would like to welcome you to the American Comedy Awards and to explain that tonight's awards are the result of ballots sent to 1,500 performers, all working in comedy, who selected the nominees, then the winners in each area. Our first presenter proves that if you are tall, smart, attractive, and intelligent, you can have your own show. And if you are funny, you can have two of them. Here from Full House and America's funniest home videos, Bob Saget.
Thank you. It's a great theme, isn't it? This is... It really is. I love it. I wish I'd written it. This is really nice, being up here in front of so many people that I've known and kissed up to over the years. It's a big thrill for me. It's weird, actually, because just 10 years ago, I was working for comedy club owners all over this country. Many of them were total scum, and, and some of them are here tonight, and... But hey, wait a minute, because some of them were the nicest people I've ever met. Sometimes, this is all true. Sometimes the most fun I had during those gigs was after the shows. The other comedians and I would go back to the hotel or the comedy condo, as it were, and we'd turn the TV on with the sound off, and we would dub the voices of whatever old movie was on at 2:30 in the morning. We did that, and boy, did we have a good time. Well, from clubs, I was very fortunate and got a job on the incredibly popular CBS morning program, where at West 57th Street, I got to stand in line in the cafeteria next to Charles Kuralt, who actually told me, "These are my mashed potatoes." And he really said that. And I knew they were his mashed potatoes because they were on his shirt and his pants and his shoes. They were all over him. It was a beautiful thing. Upon leaving that show, I got the fortunate job of playing the widowed father of 3 kids on Full House. And it was great. It was wonderful. It was a great gig. Until my own 3-year-old daughter, my real one, smelled my TV baby on my clothes and thought that I was cheating on her. Now, thank you. Thank you. You're very kind. A couple of years later, I got my most recent job on America's Funniest Home Videos, where I get to sit with 2 comedy writers in a claustrophobic room watching people's home movies on a TV with the sound off and dub the voices of whatever's on the screen. Oh, geez, have I grown. Well... I guess some things don't ever change. Well, hey, I'm not here to talk about myself, although it's a little late, isn't it? I'm here to talk about comedy, and I am very, very glad this award show exists to pay tribute to it. I love being on an award show, and I actually think that there is a shortage of award shows on television right now. So it's at this time that I would like to pitch this idea to any person watching who could come up with the cash, and there are some people here that have money. I would like to see an award show channel. Now think about this, it's all award shows. 24 hours a day award shows. I think an award, you could give out awards for all kinds of jobs. The best accountant, the best lawyer, the best agent. Okay, it's a horrible idea, but I gave it a shot. But here's a good idea. Why don't I stop the producer from sweating and do what I'm supposed to do? Here we go. For funniest male performer in a television series leading role, the nominees are, from Cheers, Ted Danson.
The way I see it, you haven't had a date with a guy for about 2.5 years now. I think this date of ours could be good for me, but sweetheart, I gotta say, it's looking real necessary for you.
From Roseanne, John Goodman.
Tonight, we're trying a variation on my classic recipe, vegetarian style.
From the Arsenio Hall Show, Arsenio Hall.
Sandy, show me this picture. No smoking, and particularly with a black man. That's what this looks like right here.
Excuse me, is there a Caucasian here? I really need a cigarette.
From Newhart, Bob Newhart.
Well, I've called just about everyone I know, and they think I should sell. $1.5 million. I have what for brains?
From The Tonight Show, Jay Leno. And the winner is John Goodman in Roseanne.
I'd like to thank the Carsey Werner Company, Danny Jacobson, Jeff Harris, great cast. Rosie, baby, you're the greatest. Thank you.
As I was rambling on before, I do that half-hour series based upon America's funniest home videos. It seems that everyone has made a video of their funniest moments. Well, the American Comedy Awards is no exception. Crazy things have happened on this show over the past 3 years, and here are just a few highlights.
Thank you. I love being here.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks for all the laughs.
Thank you. And to think I almost didn't show up.
My only regret is that I didn't have to sleep around much to win this award.
Now, on with the show.
The nominees for Best Sheepherder with Suckling Young, male or...
No. I would like to do one impression, if I may. Jiminy Cricket. Move in close. Ready? Tell me if this works. When you wish.
Actually, I'm here because maybe I can meet Norman Lear. I figure, you know, hell, they're running condom ads. Maybe they'll give me a sitcom now.
Don't you know everyone wants to laugh? My dad said be an actor, my son, but be a comical one. They'll be standing in line for those old honky-tonk monkey shine. Or you could study Shakespeare and be quite elite, and you can charm the critics and there's nothing to eat. Just slip on a banana peel, the world at your feet. Make them laugh, make them laugh, make them laugh.
I think it's the banana. It seems a little undignified. Maybe we could shorten it.
Well, I must say, the first time for anything is so marvelous.
Make them laugh, make them laugh. Don't you know everyone wants to laugh?
I've written this little speech I would like to give to you right now. Truth, I've heard it myself. I don't care for it.
Make them laugh, make them laugh, make them laugh.
There's plenty of political comedy. In fact, as soon as Olympia Dukakis won the Academy Award, George Bush announced that Cher was his cousin.
The Exxon Valdez, whose captain said, "Why blame me? I had a designated driver, didn't I?"
Isn't this special? What am I, Satan?
For the funniest female on a special with a TV thing, because she's a woman with a cable in her.
I don't have much to say that Emo Phillips hasn't already said.
And I'd like to thank the directors and the writers and the producers for helping me through the years. I'd like to thank them, but they're all gone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's a very emotional evening. They're coming right down to the wire now, and many people either want to eat or go to the bathroom. You all get one of these? Everybody's in our business, aren't they?
The 4th Annual American Comedy Awards, brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. The exciting, innovative, unconventional new spirit of Dodge. Ultra Slim Fast, give us a week, we'll take off the weight. And by Miller Lite. When it's Miller Lite, less filling really tastes great. Ladies and gentlemen from Night Court, Harry Anderson.
One of the most important awards that will be given tonight goes to performers working in comedy clubs all over the country. This is Laugh Tracks magazine, the Bible of the comedy combat zone. Laugh Track magazine, which has done as much for comedy as Louis Anderson has done for the Leotard, asks for nominations from leading comedy club owners and then sends out 500,000 ballots so the patrons could select the performers appearing in these clubs. I would like to point out that the proliferation of comedy clubs around the country has allowed the art of stand-up to evolve and mature. It is no longer as it was in the old days when comedians had to resort to cheap trickery and low burlesque shtick to satisfy unsophisticated audiences. A nod of the hat to the good old days. There we are. Before we present the nominees for the stand-up for the stand-up comedy club performer this year, we would like to introduce you to the man who first won this award way back in 1988, Mr. Jerry Seinfeld.
Thank you very much. It is great to be here at the podium. Because when you're at a podium, folks, you know what you're talking about. Isn't that why they have podiums? There's something about a podium. You can put anybody in front of a podium, and people are going to listen to what they have to say. You could have to go to the bathroom at the podium, and it doesn't matter. It looks pretty confident. And now the award for the nearest latrine. I am presenting the award for female stand-up comic. It is not easy to become a stand-up comic. It is like becoming a murderer. No matter how people try and talk you out of it, you're going to do it. And that's how you do it. Okay, the nominees are Female Stand-Up Comic of the Year, Pam Stone.
You never find love when you're looking for it, do you? No. You know why? Because you look too desperate. Oh, yeah, you think you look cool. You look like a dog under a buffet table.
Rita Rudner.
I had to go get a mortgage by myself. That was scary. When I was first on my own, I didn't know anything about money. I used to sign my checks, Love Rita.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Like, say they call you about 7 o'clock, all right? So it's 7 o'clock and they haven't called. You say, okay, I'll fix a drink. So you have a drink. Then you have another. Then you have another. Then you have another. Then you have another. Then you have... Now you're drunk. Now it's 5 after 7. They still haven't called.
Brett Butler.
So, well, hello there. It's nice to be here. This is kind of the country, too. I was born in Alabama and raised in Georgia. I'm so Southern, I'm related to myself. And,
Carol Leifer.
Group from the 60s, they're not the originals. This always happens to me. I went to see the Temptations. The guys were white.
And the winner is the red thing. The winner is Rita Rudner.
Nobody's ever happy with what they have, though. People with curly hair want straight, and people straight want curly, and bald people want everyone to be blind. I always thought I was adopted when I was growing up because I don't look anything like anyone in my family. I look a little like my grandmother now because I have brown hair and blue eyes, and she has blue hair and brown eyes.
And now here's another one of the first recipients of this award in 1988, Judy Tenuta.
That's how bad things are. How many of you are moody and depressed because you are not me? You know what? I'm so excited I just flew in on the Trump shuttle. Yeah, I was riding Trump. But who hasn't been? Except for Ivana. Yeah, guess she's kind of moody. Okay, so anyway, I'm sitting on the plane, and, you know, Trump is sitting next to me, and he's breathing on me. And he has coffee breath like Juan Valdez's sweat socks. Okay, I like that part. But then he goes, Judy, my dog died last June. I said, well, did you have to bury him in your mouth? And then he says, Judy! He says, Judy! He says, Judy! He had an accordion, too. Could happen. He says, Judy, I'm sensitive. I just want to sit around with a bunch of men and cry. I said, well, go to a Clippers game. Tough love. Oh, yes. He says, Judy, come on, be nice to me. I'm having problems with my romantic life. I go, great. Who do I look like, Dr. Ruth? Oh, perfect. Tell me this broad's not a chihuahua with foam. You know, she comes up to me and she goes, Judy, I'm a sex therapist. Yeah. Well, I would be too if I came up to everyone's belt buckle. Anyway, so I'm so glad to be back in LA to do the Comedy Awards. You know, I was in the park today breastfeeding the pigeons. And I'm walking with Mayor Tom Bradley. It could happen. And the mayor says to me, hey, Judy, you don't think we have too many homeless people, do you? And I said, oh, no. It's perfectly normal for the sidewalk to be soft. Okay. Now it's time to present the next award. This is for the best male stand-up stud puppet. Yeah, like he's not begging to spawn. Tim Allen.
My mom said men are such pigs, they shouldn't even talk. They should grunt like the little primates they are. Don't talk to me. Grunt. You don't think men grunt? Go to Sears. Watch men look at tools.
Richard Jenny.
When you walk around in your clothes, you go, I'm fairly attractive.
When you see yourself in front of a full-length mirror under fluorescent light, naked, and go, yeah.
Jeff Foxworthy!
I don't understand. Why is it when a woman gets in the bed, the temperature of her feet and butt drop to below freezing?
Dennis Wolfberg!
I actually started my career as a school teacher. And I taught in a school that even by South Bronx standards was a difficult one. Any elementary school that has its own coroner, I don't care where you're from, to me.
Rich Scheidner!
There are going to be those moments in any particular day where 1 minute you look at the other person, you're thinking to yourself, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And your next thought could be, how can I fake my death?
And the winner is Jeff Foxworthy! Come here!
Any of you guys ever go out with a girl that forgot to tell you she had a boyfriend? That's information you need, yeah? This happened to me. I went out with this girl, and we had a good time. We went out to dinner, and then after dinner, we came back to my apartment. We'd been at my place about half an hour when there was a knock on my front door. I walked out, opened the door. There's this 250-pound guy staring at me going, what the hell you think you're doing with her? I looked him right in the eyes, and I said, I'm cutting her damn hair, and you're just going to have to wait, all right?
Thank you very much. I have absolutely nothing to say except there should be a recount on this. I was thrilled just to be nominated. I want to thank some of the people, Chris DePetta, Jeff Abraham, my family and friends, J.P. Williams, just because. And most of all to my wife, without whose love and support I would probably still have a real job with a benefit plan. And to all you folks out there on the road sleeping in those lumpy mattresses and driving 1,000 miles a day, anybody can get here. Keep working at it. Thank you very much.
Good evening. Thank you. I'm Alan Thicke, the luckiest guy in the world. How many remember a show called Thick of the Night? I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe I'm not as lucky as I thought. But I stand before you tonight as a symbol of eternal hope for the would-be comics of America. A spokesperson for the ups and downs, the triumphs and tragedies of a comedy career. Psychologists tell us that the best comedy is often born of adversity. In 1984, I won the gold medal in adversity. It was a show that dared to challenge Johnny Carson. Others said it couldn't be done, but I proved it. I was the Pat Sajak of my time. They say you're your own worst critic. That wasn't true. In my case, it was People magazine. They blamed me for everything but acid rain. I remember one critic who actually liked the show. Yes, there was one. He tried to pay it a compliment, but even that didn't come out right. He wrote that Alan Thicke had a nice, self-defecating sense of humor. That was my best review. I had it permaplanked. We even had a sponsor whose commercial sounded like a cruel joke. In the middle of every program would come an announcement for feminine napkins. And the voice would say, once you've tried new lightweight, you'll never go back to thick again. I was having breakfast at the International House of Has-Beens when Growing Pains called, hallelujah. And if I have but one wish for you, it is to remember that into each life, a little Kirk Cameron may fall. And as your former poster boy for Flop Sweat, my advice is to be philosophical and remember that life itself ends in cancellation. And may my journey symbolize that by hanging in through the disappointment and pain, you too might rise again in front of a national television audience to face your accusers and from the bottom of your syndicated heart, with all the humility you can muster, be able to say,
Stay tuned for B. Arthur, Dudley Moore, and Betty White. Ladies and gentlemen, Beatrice Arthur.
Once again this year, I reluctantly agreed to attend these somewhat vulgar proceedings, hoping to bring a little class to the event. As a matter of fact, I was just backstage explaining this to Harry Anderson, who is still having trouble with his zipper. This year, I have been assured that the envelopes will be delivered properly, hermetically sealed by the gentlemen from the prestigious accounting firm of Price Waterhouse, Joseph Page and Richard Norton. They tabulated the votes. Gentlemen, may I have the hermetically sealed envelope, please?
I'll get it.
Young man, does your mother know what you do for a living? If this is a one-size-fits-all, I'd like to meet all. For the funniest female performer in a television special, the nominees are... From Top Tomato, Elaine Boozler.
I have 6 locks on my door, all in a row. And when I go out, I only lock every other one. Because I figure no matter how long somebody stands there, picks the locks, they're always locking 3.
From Julie and Carol together again, Carol Burnett.
All right, you got one more chance. Oh, thank you, thank you. Don't you ever step into my spotlight! Do you hear me? Don't you ever do that, ever!
From Saturday Night Live 15th Anniversary Special, Jane Curtin.
What can I say besides, try these on for size, Connie Chung.
From Comic Relief 3, Whoopi Goldberg.
I had to get a little one.
Look, there go Pat Riley.
Ooh, yes. This is one of the best-looking white men I have seen in my life.
From Andrea Martin, together again, Andrea Martin.
Can I get you, sweetheart, a Bailey's Benedictine or a Beaujolais? A Black Russian. Oh, Black Russian? Yep, you and me both. Find 2 of them, we can double date.
And the winner is Carol Burnett and Julie and Carol together again.
Thank you very much. It's the first time I've ever won a comedy award for singing. I hope it's not the last. Carl, keep the beard. It's terrific. I thank you so much, and this means an awful lot at this time in my life to be with all of these wonderful ladies and to be here. And I would like to thank the people who created Julie and Carol together again, Ken and Mitzi Welch, and of course my buddy who isn't here tonight. She's in Europe making a movie with Marcello Mastroianni. I have this, she has him. Julie, I love you. Thank you very much.
Each year, 5 men and 5 women are recognized for their lifetime achievement in the field of comedy. And here to present these awards is a giant in our industry, half of the legendary Derek and Clive trilogy, a true lifetime overachiever, Dudley Moore.
Thank you, Bea, for that sterling introduction. And I think we all know what sterling is worth these days. It is my pleasure, it's my unfettered joy to present this year's Lifetime Achievement Award, male. Many of you have mistakenly construed that this is awarded for lifetime achievement for being a male, solely for maleness, which would, of course, give one pause as to why Milton Berle is in the category at all. Every one of the esteemed gentlemen in this year's crop of lifetime achievers have inextricable links, so hard to say that, to the musical world. Milton Berle, in fact, wrote this famous piece of music. Although he did enter to this strain on more than one occasion. And who else comes to mind when we hear this theme? That's right, a man who has made more people laugh in bed than Dr. Ruth. Our second honoree, Johnny Carson. And our next distinguished comedian is not only an expert clown, but a wonderful dramatic actor. That's right, he's Jack Lemmon. And the theme made famous by the next honoree says it all. Yes, yes. Bob Hope. But, you know, the man who received the most votes this year for giving us a lifetime of laughter plays his own theme music. From his home in Connecticut, Mr. Art Carney.
That's a nice show you see for nothing. Were you expecting humoresque? Lifetime Achievement Award. But I'm not through achieving. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, if over the years I brought some happiness and some laughs to you folks, it makes it all worthwhile. I'll cherish this award forever, believe me. Thank you.
I love that man's name, Arthur. It's now available in your local video stores. Moving on. Our honorees for female lifetime achievement are Miss Eve Arden, Phyllis Diller, and my little buddy, Goldie Hawn. And, of course, Shirley MacLaine. Shirley, of course, who won a Lifetime Achievement Award in all 6 previous lifetimes. But here is the woman who this year received the most votes for the Lifetime Achievement Award, which we call the Lucy.
Hello, Betty.
Hello, Alan.
What are your plans for the summer, Betty?
Well, I'm going to do some... What did you have in mind, Al?
That's the camera. When the red light goes on, that means that the camera is about...
I know what I'm doing. Just cue me and then stick a sock in it.
I'm still a little confused. Now, who exactly is Ricky? Lucy,
Lucy's husband. I thought Desi was Lucy's husband. Not on the show. Desi wasn't on the show. Desi played Ricky. Who did Lucy play? Lucy. I know, but who did she play? Lucy. Right, but who did she play? Lucy played Lucy. Well, then why didn't Desi play Desi? He wasn't tall enough.
And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
And here she is, Betty White.
Oh, come on now. I appreciate that so much. I realize we were late starting and you wanted to straighten out your underwear, but I do appreciate it in any event. I truly do. When I was a kid and doing the senior play in high school, my dad was so proud of me, and he would say, "Are you going to practice today?" And I would get so ticked off. I said, "I'm in the theater. We don't practice, we rehearse." And he never could quite get that through his head that you didn't practice. So we finally began calling it that, and little did I dream then that this kind of an honor would be here now. And I want to thank all the producers through all the years, from Don Fedderson up to Paul Witt and Tony Thomas and Susan Harris, and all the wonderful writers from George Tibbles up to those magnificent team of miracle workers that we have on Golden Girls, and all the performers that I've had the privilege of working with, from Del Moore through Mary Tyler Moore up to those three silly, crazy ladies, Rue and Estelle and Bea, and the directors that I've had. Well, when I say had, I don't... I want to thank you with all my heart for this. And I know a lifetime achievement would indicate that you should say thank you politely and get out of the business. But I can't, because I still have to practice. Thank you very much.
Stay tuned for Henry Winkler, Kirk Cameron, Beau Bridges, Tom Arnold, and Roseanne Barr on the American Comedy Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, Henry Winkler.
This year, the American Comedy Awards program has chosen to honor a man for the Lifetime Creative Achievement Award. He has been responsible for hundreds of hours of comedy. He has just completed his latest film, Pretty Woman, but America knows him best as the creator of Happy Days, which then begot Laverne and Shirley, and then begot Mork and Mindy, which at one time was rated 1, 2, and 3. He has also brought to television The Odd Couple. He worked on shows such as Gomer Pyle, Lucy, Danny Thomas, and so many more. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Garry Marshall. Now, Garry is a fabulous writer. He is a producer. He is a director. He is a wonderful friend who always has the time whenever you need help. I first met Garry at the audition for Happy Days. On the set of Happy Days, he not only gave us a chance at success, he also gave us a very strong role model.
I enjoy working with young people. I had the opportunity in my early television to work with a lot of young kids on Happy Days, and they all became very wealthy, I must say. And so I used to sit around listening to three 19-year-olds discussing their escrow.
Do you live at home?
No, I'm in the dorms. What about you?
I live in a house.
Oh, Spy Delta?
No.
Alpha Tau Omega?
No, Mama, Papa, sister.
Garry used the show to motivate young people in school.
I don't think Lori Beth really wants
Oh,
to hear
yeah,
about it.
before I knew what was happening, I was applying for my own library card and checking out my very first book.
I was never so proud of the Fonz or his influence until after that episode aired. It was reported that the application for library cards went up 500%. 3 million kids applied.
You never got a card?
No, I never thought they'd give it to a guy like me, but do you know there's a card for everybody? That's right, everybody is allowed to read. Who would have thought such a thing?
Garry says that his sense of humor comes from his mom, and many of his characters came from the kids that he just grew up with.
We're looking for an apartment we can share.
Yeah.
Here's one. It sounds good. 2 bedroom, 1.5 bar, wire-to-wire curtains, with burr, dirts, and furple. What's wrong with your mouth?
It's the mixture of funny words, outlandish costumes, and slapstick that gives every show that special Garry Marshall flavor.
Don't worry, we'll find her. Okay, everybody, spread out. Shirley Feeney, report to you.
I became very interested in physical comedy. And I started out in my early work, I did big physical jokes.
I want you to do me a favor. You've had a rough time. Sit down. Come on, I want you to relax. Put your head up here and your feet up
Not
here.
with my shoes on the bed. Not on the bed. No, not my shoes on the bed. Please, no.
Put him down here.
Let us turn your head. This might hurt a little.
Visual humor is my favorite. If you want to know what really makes me laugh, it's visual humor more than anything else.
Garry's comedic talent was developed and polished throughout the years by working with the best. He also wanted to have his picture taken with Danny Thomas, Dick Van Dyke, Milton Berle, Norman Lear, and Carl Reiner.
I knew how to do one-line jokes, but Carl Reiner on his show, Dick Van Dyke, taught me how to do a story.
Well, I thought you knew how to tell stories when you came for me. That's the way we paid you. We paid you a full price for jokes and stories. Now it turns out that I taught you how to do that. Well, you owe me money, and I want a refund.
Garry came to me after one of the filmings of Mork and Mindy, and he said, pulled me over to the side, and he said, Pam, you know I love you. You know, I think you're great. But the network wants to know if, you know, I think you're great, Pam, but maybe you could consider wearing a padded bra. And I looked at Garry, and tears welled up in my eyes, and I said, Garry, I am wearing a padded bra. He said, you look fine.
Hey, it's a chance for me to publicly do something that I wanted to do for a while, which is thank you for the fantastic education. You know, you're a great teacher. Whether you know it or not, you have all these axioms. You kind of Garry's rules for show business. Life is more important than show business. And I could always see that you live by that rule, Garry. And it's something that I try to remember. Thank you for everything, and enjoy the evening.
I was very proud that a lot of the young kids started with me, did very well, and a lot of my kids in my shows all became very successful as directors. See, they got bored doing my shows, so I made them look through the camera and find out what else is going on. So Henry, Winkler, Ron Howard, Anson Williams, my sister Penny, are all directing now, and I'm very proud of them.
Hi, I'm Penny Marshall. I'm on my 752nd day of shooting in a mental hospital in Brooklyn when they called and asked me if I would send a personal message to my brother about what it was like growing up with him. I don't remember. I know he left when I was very young, so I don't have very many childhood memories of him except for squeezing my face and bouncing balls off my hat. But I do remember him as an adult. He is a key figure in my life and in my career. I thank him very much for that, and I congratulate him on his award tonight. Hi, Guy. Here's a friend to come in who's also in the hospital with me.
Hi, Guy.
Hello, we're not doing Shakespeare. It's nice.
But we're doing a drama, which...
That's right. We're here in a mental hospital. Like your sister said, we'll be here for a while. Take care of yourself. Relax. Don't worry. We'll have a good time. Come on, we have to go get medicated again.
Shoot.
Bye-bye, Gary. Take care
Congratulations.
of yourself. Congratulations, you little bit. Hey, be careful. Do I look nuts to you? Do I look nuts to you? A menstrual hospital. It's a period piece. Good night.
After Gary's immense success on television, he decided to go to the movies and challenge the big screen, Garry Marshall style.
My first film was Young Doctors in Love. And one thing I loved about films is I could fill the screen. In a movie, you don't have to do the joke right in the front. You can do it in the back of the scene or in the side, and I like that.
Yeah, you know, relationships can be hard. Take Angela, for instance.
She's a hooker.
She is?
Julie, she's a hooker.
Voices changing all the time.
You know, I mean, my mom and dad, they went to church every Sunday. Her father murdered her mother.
Murdered?
He's in prison. I mean, I like her. She's a good kid. She brings me presents. Well, I mean, she wants to do a hooking, but I don't know. I mean, I'm a doctor. I can't hang around with hookers. Did you ever have any relationships?
Relationships? Yeah, I've had a few. But then again, too few to mention.
From that hysterical first film, Garry has continued to coax serious actors into his special world of comedy. He has blended laughter with tears in many successful films, including one that is nominated for an award here tonight, Beaches.
When I started on the Jack Parr show, some of my jokes he would go out and he would use, and they would get a big laugh, and I would get a smile on my face. And now, 30 years later, I get really the same thrill, the same smile, and I guess that's why I keep doing it, and I still love it.
It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero?
A lot of times they put down television saying it's the lowest common denominator. It's the only medium that can reach the lowest common denominator. To get up in the morning and say, I'm gonna make some rich, smart, successful people laugh, it's not what I do. I think, let them get their own laughs. I like to make people laugh who come off a hard job. They had a long day and they want to sit down and have a good time. And I put a lot of warmth and love in my work because I think that's what is needed somebody's got to do that. And I figured that's my job. I once said, if television is the education of the American public, then I am Recess. I mean, they call me corny, they call me sentimental, they call me too positive, they call me too wish fulfillment, but they call me, and they keep calling me.
Thank God for you, the wind beneath my wings.
Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of this year's Lifetime Creative Achievement Award, Mr. Garry Marshall.
Thank you. It's hi. It's nice to get a prize in a tuxedo. But Life Achievement Award has such a finality to it. You know, I got nervous. You know, it's a little disconcerting to a person like me who's a hypochondriac. As soon as I heard about it, I immediately went to the doctor, thinking maybe the Comedy Award people knew something I didn't know. But I am here tonight, and the man came out and said, please try to be humble quickly. So I will try to do that as a Life Achievement winner. I had many partners to do this body of work, which they left out for you people. But, you know, it all isn't successful. I also did Me and the Chimp, Blansky's Beauty, and Hey Landlord. So it isn't all perfect. Also, I like to acknowledge the people who made me laugh all these years. My wife, Barbara, who I've been married to 27 years, and my 3 children, Glory, Kathy, and Scotty. They have been an important part of my life. Mark Twain once said that man is the only animal that blushes, or needs to. He also, I think, man is the only animal that laughs and wants to. And I think that we have this special gift, man, and the rest of the animal kingdom is not in on the joke. Rest of the animal kingdom and a few people from the network. But I want to say all the people who helped me in my career, I want to thank them very much. And all you people out there who never helped me at all, I also thank you, because nobody likes a mean-spirited winner. So I thank you all, and I really appreciate it tonight. Thank you very much.
Stay tuned for Christina Applegate from Married with Children and the first TV performance of newlyweds Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr.
One of the encouraging trends in contemporary comedy is the reemergence of performers who talk about important things like government and environment. Comics like Richard Belzer, Blake Clark, Barry Crimmins, and Will Durst lighten the load by making our political leaders even funnier than they are. And now, as the American Comedy Awards stumble into the 1990s, here with the warning that those who ignore the jokes of the past are condemned to re-elect them in the future, is Jimmy Tingle.
Thank you very much. Well, folks, it was a decade of great change, paradox, and hilarious political personalities. The funniest of which, of course, was our president, Ronald Reagan. He just had a simple, safe answer for everything, no matter what it was. The war on drugs? Just say no. Oh, that'll work. Is that our good friend, General Noriega, bringing 30 million tons of cocaine into the country? Nope. Hinckley shoots the president of the United States on national television. They find him not guilty by reason of insanity. Not guilty? I saw him do it. How much proof do you need? Meanwhile, Congress, our leaders, vote against the proposal to have a national 7-day waiting period to buy a gun. Now, folks, I don't want to sound like a Quaker, okay? But when you think about it, is a week a long time to wait to see if the former mental patient is qualified to own an Uzi? Come on, will you, Congress? It takes 3 weeks to get a phone. Folks, it was a decade where personal ethics replaced political issues. Gary Hart, he had an affair. Well, then he can't be the president. Not in this moral land. Give us a break, will you, please? All of a sudden, everyone's from Bethlehem. Joe Biden, he plagiarized a speech. Can't be the president. Not in the land of original thought. No siree. Not in the country that made professional wrestling a religion. John Tower, he wasn't qualified to be Secretary of Defense because of womanizing and drinking. Now, folks, I saw John Tower on television, okay? And in my humble opinion, I think it was the women that were drinking. Then comes a guy like Michael Dukakis, who appears to be the very embodiment of the American dream. The son of Greek immigrants, works his way up the ladder, Harvard graduate, 26 years in government, doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't gamble, a family man. The whole country goes, boring. He's too boring to be the president. Oliver North, he sits in front of the whole world. They ask him questions. Mr. North, now you lied to the Iranians, did you not? Yes, I did. Now you lied to General Secord, did you not? Why, yes, I did. Now you lied to the Congress, is that true? Why, yes, it is. Are you lying to this committee? No way. And 50 million Americans go, you should run for office. On the other end of the spectrum, you have Ronald Reagan and George Bush, the most popular administration in the history of democracy. Between the both of them, they still can't remember whether or not they sold guns to Iran. Hey, fellas, in the future, right? If you sell guns to people that take Americans hostage, jot it down. It was the 80s, folks. It was the 80s. We kept running out of money. AIDS research, we don't have the money. Education, no money. Drugs, no money. The elderly, no money. The homeless, no money. Star Wars, I think we've got a few bucks. We always had money for the evil empire. We spent more on the Russians during the 80s than we spent on ourselves, and along comes Mikhail Gorbachev going, we were kidding. We were kidding. Glasnost, perestroika, and thank God for the changes in Eastern Europe. The wall's down, there's a McDonald's in Moscow. We can see the Russian threat for what it is, or what it isn't. These people aren't going to attack us. These people are standing in line for food. I hope there's nobody out there that still thinks that the Russians are going to sneak into the United States of America in the middle of the night and try to, like, take New York or LA. Don't be ridiculous. Where the hell are they going to park? Thank you very much, folks.
The nominees for Funniest Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture are, from Driving Miss Daisy, Dan Aykroyd. From The Fabulous Baker Boys, Beau Bridges. From Dad, Ted Danson. From Parenthood, Rick Moranis. From The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, Robin Williams. And the winner is Rick Moranis from Parenthood.
Thank you very much. I want to thank Ron Howard for asking me to do the picture, my agent John Gaines for telling me to do the picture, Lowell Gans and Howie Mandell, who wrote a terrific script, and no, I do not know why he calls himself Lowell. The caterer, nobody ever thanks the caterer. No, it's true. I mean, this guy made burritos the size of a Torah. It was just Tom Pollock. I don't know why. It's just, I think it's good to, use the name of the studio head. In fact, let me thank Jeffrey Katzenberg, too. Cast and crew down in Florida, great time. My on-screen wife, Harley Kozak, and especially my off-screen wife, Ann. Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Christina Applegate and Matt Frewer.
Most people think that I'm just like Kelly Bundy, the precocious teenage daughter on Married with Children.
Or that I'm like the sex-starved Doctor on Doctor.
Well, I'm not at all like that wild, crazy, man-hungry, oversexed little slut.
I am. My character, if he were here, and of course he's not, would probably drool, stare down the front of your dress, drool some more, and not bother to wipe it up, and ask for something stupid like a Must she autograph her?
Well, my character would probably sign it.
She would? Is she home, your character? Could she come out to play? Could you get her to sign this with love and kisses for me, please? Huh? Come on, go ahead, do it. Right across your forehead.
There you go, Doctor. Does that feel better?
Yeah, my pants are getting shorter.
The nominees for the funniest supporting actress in a motion picture are, from Steel Magnolias, Olympia Dukakis.
And from When Harry Met Sally, Carrie Fisher.
From New York Stories, Julie Kavner.
From Steel Magnolias, Shirley MacLaine.
And from Parenthood, Diane Wiest.
And the award goes to...
The winner is Julie Kavner in New York Stories.
Wow, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is pretty great looking, isn't it? I'd like to thank everybody who answered their mail and all my peers who voted for me and think that I'm funny. Thank you very, very much.
Julie, what can I say? You won. That's fantastic. Julie Kavner doing me. Go home. Go home.
Well done, Julie. That's my baby. That's my baby. Comedy girls.
Yeah. And tell me 101 is really true. Yes, you know and I know this is true. We compare our pitch and woo. I'm down for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Saturday Night Live, Victoria Jackson.
This is my new song of the year, Draw the Line by Victoria Jackson. Talk about love, talk about morality. Have you heard it before? Well, Willie Nelson sings his over and over and over. So. Talk about love, talk about morality. Are we having an affair, or are you just glad to see me when we kiss goodnight? Is a kiss time by the minute? If a minute's too long, does a sweet little kiss have the devil in it? If we whisper low, things no one else can hear, will my husband know? Will he think my vows were insincere? Where do you draw the line between love and adultery? If you're a friend of mine, can I hold your hand? Where do you draw the line? Bum, bum, bum. Do you think it's okay if I tickle your ear this way? Or if I lick the lint out of your navel with my tongue? Will the neighbors talk? Will they misconstrue and think that you are not just my best friend, but that I am in love with you? I'm sorry. Where do you draw the line? Do you think it's okay if our clothes accidentally fall off when you come over to be comforted because a family member died? Or what if the doctor said I had a terrible disease and the only way to cure it would be to take a shower with you naked? Where do you draw the line? 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 Thank you.
The 4th Annual American Comedy Awards will continue in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Gilbert Gottfried.
Boy, was that fun. I feel like Adolf Eichmann. That's the way it was at his trials. He said, I need something that would put me apart from all the other Nazis. They said, how about being in a glass box? Oh, that would work. Sometimes he didn't even have the glass box. He'd just do this like little mime thing like this. He was amazing that way, amazing. In the books, The Comedy of Adolf Eichmann, you can read all about it. He was so funny. Oh, was he funny. funny? Yes, he was. And I liked that introduction they gave me. It was a terrific introduction. Sure, here he is, Gilbert Gottfried. Like, that's all they could say about me. Robin Williams won another award for funniest guy in a TV special. Billy Crystal won the award for funniest actor in a motion picture. They didn't even show up, and they still got a better introduction than I did. Ladies and gentlemen, Gilbert Gottfried. Some unseen voice in a tuxedo. Ladies and gentlemen, Gilbert Gottfried. No wonder this place didn't go crazy. If you knew what I was and what I had done, then you would have gone nuts. There would have been a riot out in the street. People would still be applauding. There'd be heart attacks. People would be choking each other at the table. They'd be going, did you see all the things that this man has done? To think that they still talk about Jesus when there's a guy like this guy here. Even Jesus, they would have given his introduction. They would have said, ladies and gentlemen, he brought Lazarus back from the dead. Let's have a warm round of applause for him. And he'd walk out and go, gee, I'm so nervous, can you tell? Did you ever wonder why they didn't dump Andy Rooney? Did you ever wonder why they dumped Jane Pauley and kept Brian Gumble? Ever wonder why they dumped Jane Pauley and kept Willard Scott? Ever wonder why Deborah Norville? What kind of a name is that for a news person? Debbie's a name for a beauty contest winner. Debbie's a name for a hooker. I don't want news from a Debbie. I want my news from a Nigel or a Margaret or an Elizabeth. I want sex from a Debbie. I want a cocktail from a Debbie. I don't want to see Debbie do the news. I want to see Debbie Does Dallas. Did you ever wonder why I'm out here and nobody knew why I was coming out? Because I didn't get an introduction? They would have given Debbie an introduction. Actually, I'm here to introduce Valerie Harper. But Valerie Harper already knows Valerie Harper, so I have no reason to be here. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Valerie Harper.
Oh, the poor, dear, wonderful writers. They are the unsung heroes of comedy. When actors get a laugh, we can bow and say thank you. If actors don't get a laugh, we can look at the audience and say, hold it, I didn't write this garbage. The writer sometimes delivers the completed script as a mother presenting a newborn infant to Attila the Hun. Precious pearls of wisdom are then changed, cut, fixed, adapted, transposed, deleted, savaged, and ravaged. And when the writer complains, he's told, hey, look, Bunky, this stuff's not in stone, you know. I would like, on behalf of all of us, to acknowledge the fact that without the writers, we actors wouldn't be so bright and amusing and scintillating and next card, please, and articulate. I'm sure the next group of nominees shares our gratitude. For funniest supporting male in a television series, the nominees are, from Saturday Night Live, Dana Carvey.
Gotta be quiet. Gotta quiet down. The vice president just fell asleep. So peaceful.
From Cheers, Woody Harrelson.
Hey, everybody, that was the director of my community theater. I finally got a lead in one of our plays. First I get a bike when I'm 10, and now this. Boy.
From Night Court, John Larroquette.
About this liaison, I need details for true forgiveness.
I don't know where to start.
Were you naked?
No. From the famous Teddy Z, Alex Rocco.
He'll be here at 5, and he would like to see you in his office, Judas. What'd I say?
From Newhart, Peter Scolari.
You mean I'm still your primo amigo?
I don't have a primo amigo.
Of course you do. C'est moi, 'tis I.
And the winner is Dana Carvey from Saturday Night Live.
I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm sorry. I'm really flattered that I won this award. I have so many people to thank: Lorne Michaels, Jim Downey, the staff at Saturday Night Live, my fellow cast members, and then the great writers in the show, and my mom and dad, and all of the Hollywood community in general. I'm very flattered. Thank you very much. I'm a little emotional right now because I had a lot of pressure put on me by certain people who would have me use this moment to promote a movie that I was in that's coming out March 30th in 1,300 theaters called Opportunity Knocks, co-starring Robert Loggia, Todd Graff, and Julia Cameron. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stand here and use this moment to promote something else that has nothing to do with the American Comedy Award. A movie. I'm not going to stand in front of a poster of the movie and tell you that it's out March 30th and that a lot of people have called it a wacky, madcap romp. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm sorry. It's very emotional and very grateful for this wonderful award. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now to read the rules from Empty Nest, Dreyfus, and his friend David Leisure.
Well, it's now time to read the rules. Secret ballot. Keep your fur on, we're almost done. The rules have been read. Thank you.
Coming up on the American Comedy Awards, Kirk Cameron and Howie Mandell. Ladies and gentlemen, from Growing Pains, Kirk Cameron and his agent, Al Floss.
Oh, Kirk, they love you, kid. I mean, they love you. You stick with me, I can get you your own television series.
Well, thanks, but I've been on a television series for the last 5 years.
Is it going good or what? Huh? Stick with me and I can get you a motion picture.
Well, thanks, but I've done 3 motion pictures already.
Are we doing great? Huh? Are we doing great? My God. Now, I can arrange it for you to present an award on the American Comedy Awards.
Right, that's what I'm here to do now.
How long have you known me?
5 minutes?
I made you a star, huh? Hey, keep it down, huh? Just keep it down. Do you mind? I'm talking. All right, Kirk. You're on, babe. I'll be right back here if you need me.
Could you go a little farther back?
How far?
You have a car?
We have a car. I love this kid. Oh, my God. Okay, let's see.
For the funniest supporting female in a television series, the nominees are, from Newhart, Julia Duffy.
It doesn't matter what I look like. I want to see our beautiful baby come into this world.
Oh, sweet pea, I don't know when I've loved you as much as right now.
Shut up and tilt the damn beer down.
From Murphy Brown, Faith Ford.
I really want to win. I know you're not supposed to say that, but I really do. Not that I want you to lose, Murphy. Or you either, Frank, but you're used to it.
From Saturday Night Live, Jan Hooks.
Only thing more trouble than money is a man. And the only thing more trouble than a man was John Barrymore.
From The Tracy Ullman Show, Julie Kavner.
Yes, you know and I know this is true. We compare up, pitch and woo. I'm down for the...
From Cheers, Rhea Perlman.
There was the time I was making love to a guy on a carousel.
Where? An amusement park?
No, LaGuardia Airport.
And the winner is... Julie Kavner.
Wow, 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 wow. Another one. 2 of these. See, two right here. Unbelievable. Thank you again very, very much to those people who opened their mail.
Ladies and gentlemen, Howie Mandell.
It's great to be here at the 4th Annual American Comedy Awards. You know, when you get to be my level, and the podium's going down on me. Oh no, it's going down. When you reach my level in comedy, it's important to have like, an entourage. And that's where these are the boys that I hang out with. I grew up with them, and they guide me, and I trust them, and that's why I hang with them. And you know, it's good for me because when we found out, when the boys and I found out that we would be part of the 4th Annual American Comedy Awards, I said, what am I gonna do? What kind of comedy? And they said, well, everybody's gonna be doing comedy. Do something different. And I said, what could be different? And they said, what about some magic? And I said, good idea. So, okay, so here's what I did. I called my friend Siegfried because I'm closer to him than I am to Roy. No, I am. He doesn't even let me call him Roy. He says, it's Roy. So I can't deal with that guy anymore. So anyways, Ziggy came up with a couple of magical shenanigans. Let's use this as the trick area, guys. Okay, the first trick I want to do is I'm going to do the bouquet of flowers out of the sleeve. And there's nothing up my sleeve except a wire with a hoop on it, but it's not flowers. I swear to you. Smell. It's not flowers. Thank you. The next thing I put together is marinara sauce out of a pant leg. There's nothing up my pant leg. For the funniest female performer in a television series, leading role, the nominees are... From Cheers, Kirstie Alley.
And I will greet Mr. Colcord at the door, wearing nothing but a skirt, a shirt, my underwear, and a smile. All right, I'll get naked.
From Roseanne Barr.
Stop that pig meat cover hog.
Cover hog?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. Hey, we missing an offspring?
Yeah, where do you think I got the bacon?
From Murphy Brown, Candice Bergen.
I before E. Hey, slow down, okay? I did ask you nicely. And now I'm telling you, slow down. Hello? Governor?
From the Tracy Ullman Show, Tracy Ullman.
Oh, my
Yes.
God. Oh, my God.
You don't know what it means to me to be a doctor's wife for the second time.
From the Golden Girls, Betty White.
I mean, you haven't seen anything till you've seen a frustrated cow. They can get this crazed look in their eye, and you know they're thinking, where's mine?
I had the envelope in my pocket. And the winner is... Tracy Ullman in the Tracy Ullman Show.
Hello, this is Tracy Ullman doing a classic I Can't Be With You Today because I'm having lunch with my agent or something. And I don't know how I won this award because I won't let George Schlatter touch me. But there you go, I'm very thrilled. Thanks a lot. It's so funny to be accepting an award and not be there and be that adrenaline and running up in one of my silly frocks where I can't sit down, go to the toilet or get in the car to go home and I have a ridiculous bow on my head. So it's nice to be relaxed and just say thank you to everybody on the Tracy Ullman Show for working so bally hard to make it possible, and I do hope to be back next season in full, or if not, there is rumour that I may get 30 seconds in the middle of The Simpsons. Thank you very much, I'm very proud. Have a lovely time. Have they got those false noses on the table this year and stuff like that? Now that's comedy! Thank you, bye-bye. Thank you!
Stay tuned for Beau Bridges, a look at comedy in the news, plus Tom Arnold and his lovely bride, Roseanne Barr. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the fabulous Baker Boys, Beau Bridges.
Well, a cheap sight gag at best, but I'm an actor. What do you want me to do, you know? Perhaps a recitation of humorous intent. Shakespeare wrote some pretty funny stuff. No? I don't know. What has everyone else done so far? Harry Anderson dropped his pants. B. Arthur talked to a man trapped inside a giant condom. Actually, what they told me to do is just come out and say something very sincere, which I'll do right now. And that is that Michelle Pfeiffer is to die for. Sincerely. And actually, so are all the other women nominated for Funniest Actress in a Motion Picture Leading Role. And they are, from Look Who's Talking, Kirstie Alley.
Look out, you're gonna hit! Oh, God.
Are you doing your Lamaze breathing?
Look out!
Do you want me to call your husband when we get to the hospital?
I don't have a husband.
How about your boyfriend?
Look, if you have to know my life history, I was artificially inseminated.
What are you, lesbo?
From Beaches, Bette Midler.
Hold it here. I guess hold. Forgot to send the heat up. Send the heat up! Creep. Crazy Turk. This is where Leona sleeps when she visits. All the comforts of home, huh? Bathtub. Oh, yeah, we got everything. Wait! For no extra money. Look. What do you think? A veranda.
From the fabulous Baker Boys, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Name?
Susie Diamond.
Catchy. You have any previous experience as a singer, Miss Diamond?
No.
Any entertainment experience at all?
Well, for the last couple of years, I've been on call for the AAA escort service.
From When Harry Met Sally, Meg Ryan.
Challenging.
I'm too structured. I'm completely closed off.
But in a good way.
No. I drove him away. And I'm gonna be 40.
When?
Someday.
From Driving Miss Daisy, Jessica Tandy.
Where are you off to this morning, Miss Worthing?
Oh, just a little shopping. Go away. I've ridden the trolley with groceries plenty of times.
Yes, I know, Miss Daisy, but I can't keep taking Mr. Worthing's money for doing nothing.
How much he pay you?
Now, Miss Daisy, that's between him and me.
And then over $7 a week is robbery. Highway robbery.
And the winner is Meg Ryan in When Harry Met Sally. Now, Meg Ryan was unable to be here with us here tonight, so we would like to accept this award on her behalf, and thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Linda Ellerby.
know me. Some people don't. That's why I always carry this. A cup of Maxwell House coffee. I want to talk to you about some funny people who get together and break each other up night after night. And I'm not talking about the comedy clubs. I'm talking about the local evening news. At one time, the news was hard, and the anchor merely a messenger. Then, alas, show business arrived, and America saw how much fun could be had in a newsroom on programs such as these.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me extreme pleasure to undiminished gratification to be entrusted with the complexities of ooh, thank you. An auditory delight to herald the arrival of one foremost practicing of the art of news broadcasting, Mr. Dan Rowan.
Item Warsaw, 1988. A flood of tasteless American jokes is sweeping Poland. Item Washington, D.C., 1988. President Ronald Reagan today denied once again that he is a candidate for the office of Governor of California.
Former Governor of California, Ronald Reagan, formally announced his candidacy for the Republican presidential nomination Wednesday. Reagan stated, quote, "I haven't lost my looks yet, and I'm still as knowledgeable on foreign affairs as I was when I was narrating Death Valley days."
Since Jimmy Carter has been in the White House, the telephone switchboards there have been jammed with 80,000 calls a day. Operators say that 1,000 are official business and 79,000 are obscene phone calls, traced to a phone booth in San Clemente, California.
Mexico has reached an agreement to restructure its debt with American creditors. Under the new terms of the accord, American banks will forgive $3 billion of Mexico's debt, and Mexico will forgive George Bush for calling his Hispanic grandson the little brown one.
The Exxon Corporation filed today to officially change its name back to Esso. An Esso spokesman said, "Oil spill? What oil spill?" You must be thinking of Exxon.
Standing in front of the Department of Criminal Occupational Rehabilitation. It's there they assimilate criminals back into the workforce, and they do it by cultivating their inherent talents. LaRoyal, Levi, and Ace are 3 gang members from South Central Los Angeles, convicted last year of drive-by violence. Now they're given a second chance. They're trying their hands at a whole new career. Sylvia Wallace, once known as the Sledgehammer Killer. Sylvia is now doing very well in her new job with a toy manufacturer. At the Department of Criminal Occupational Rehabilitation, for NNTN, I'm John Ross.
And now, with this week's Consumer Report, is correspondent Rosanna Dana. Welcome, Roseanne.
Thank you, Jane.
What are you going to report on tonight?
Well, Jane, Mr. Richard Fader of New York City writes in and says, "Dear Rosanna Dana, I got no heat. What should I do?" Well, Mr. Fader, I want to help you because I know how you feel. Once I didn't have no heat, and I was afraid I was going to come down with the flu. I had a temperature, I had the chills, I didn't have too many blankets in my apartment, so I went outside to get some soup, because it's supposed to be good for you if you're clogged up. I go to the restaurant and I ordered soup. Well, I got it, and wouldn't you know, there was a hair in it. Can you imagine that? It was about this long. I thought I was gonna die. Now, let me ask you this. Did you ever eat a hamburger and there's a hard thing in it? You know, it's like a toenail. And you know, it's not part of the hamburger, but you separate the meat and the pickle and the lettuce and the tomatoes all on one side of your mouth, and finally you get on your tongue that little thing, and it's like a bone. But it's not a bone. I keep asking myself, Rosanna Dana, if they can make a coffee you like without caffeine, why can't they make a hamburger you like with no toenails?
And now, as a public service to those of our viewers who have difficulty with their hearing, I will repeat the top story of the day, aided by the headmaster of the New York School for the Hard of Hearing, Garrett Morris. Our top story tonight
Our top story tonight
is that the CIA has been involved in several assassination plots on foreign leaders.
Several assassination plots against foreign leaders. And that's the news.
And that's the news. Good night and have a pleasant...
Good night and have
Come on.
And now, America's favorite newlyweds, Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr.
All right, throughout the years, there have been so many great comedy couples. Lucy and Desi,
Burns and Allen,
Jackie Gleason and Audrey Meadows,
Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore,
Archie and Edith,
Nichols and May,
Stiller and Mira,
Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold,
Tom Arnold and Roseanne Barr,
Jim Neighbors and Arsenio Hall,
Really? Is that right?
No, that's just the rumor I'm starting.
Okay.
But,
This is the first thing we've done in public together.
no, it's a... no, it's the first thing we've consented to.
Since we've been married about a month and a half, it's going real great.
Yeah, keep those wedding gifts coming.
Of course, we won't be doing many more of these things together because I've been talking to my agent.
Don't you mean our agent?
Well, my psychiatrist said I should get my own agent.
Don't you mean our psychiatrist?
He said our relationship would be a lot better and healthier if I had my own projects. You know, he says I should get my own identity.
You don't think you have your own identity?
Well, yeah, it's always like Roseanne Barr's boyfriend, Roseanne Barr's fiance, Roseanne Barr's husband.
Well, people know that you're a great comic and not just some guy that I chased around the country and married that had drug abuse problems.
Well, we're always together in public.
Well, I know.
And I write for your show.
Well, so do I.
I write for your act.
Well, so do I.
I love you.
Well, so do I.
But I want my own identity.
All right, fine. I want you to have your own identity. I realize you need that because you are a strong and independent person. That's why I married you. Fine, get your own identity, fine.
Good.
I don't want you to have your own identity. Why do you have to have your own identity, please? I don't want you to have your own identity.
Okay, I won't have my own identity right now, but when I do, I'm going to let you help me pick it out. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's go eat.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
That concludes the 4th Annual American Comedy Awards. Thanks for being with us. See you next year, Laugh Lovers. Good night.
The 4th Annual American Comedy Awards, brought to you by the exciting, innovative, unconventional new spirit of God. Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste, so tap into the cold. Ultra Slim Fast, give us a week, we'll take off the weight. And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. Some of tonight's winners were notified in advance. Continental Airlines is pleased to have provided transportation for this evening's telecast. Continental working to give the best performance in the air to more than 100 cities around the world. The new Hyatt Regency Los Angeles and the Hyatt on Sunset, which have provided accommodations, congratulate this evening's honorees. Discover the magic of a Hyatt touch in Los Angeles.